Hey guys, I misplaced my selfie stick, so I'm going to try to do this vlog on my own holding it. We'll see how that works. So this weekend was MTAC, and I had a blast, as you guys can find out from my MTAC recap. I am losing my voice, and I'm going to speak to you guys today as a representative, one of two representatives from howtobeaconartist.tumblr.com. I spent a lot of my time at MTAC answering people's questions on how to be a convention artist. I have to say that although I had a couple of people come up to me and say they recognize my name from How to Be a Con Artist, none of those people, including the people who came up to say hi, which I do appreciate, none of them bought anything from me at all. I mean, I spent about 4 hours last weekend answering questions, taking time away from my commissions, taking time away from me making money to do more unpaid work. You guys, I do a lot of unpaid work for How to Be a Con Artist, and I've done a lot of unpaid work over the years doing con reviews and tutorials and reviewing merchandise and basically putting myself out on a limb. And I don't want to pretend like I'm unique. There are a lot of artists who are doing the same thing, Curious Gut included, and we are not being fairly rewarded for our time. So I will say this on my YouTube channel, not on How to Be a Con Artist, because I don't want to cause a problem. If you guys are going to come up to me and talk to me about my table but not buy anything from me, maybe you should rethink asking me for advice. I know some of you guys are literally walking up to every single artist in the alley who looks like they're doing okay and asking them how they're doing it. And a lot of the people who asked me questions admitted that other artists were not willing to help them out. While I do think that's crummy, and I do think it's a shame because a lot of those artists did learn from How to Be a Con Artist, so they did benefit from some other artist teaching them the ropes. I do think you're more likely to get the answers you like. You're more likely to get a positive response if you purchase something from the table. We're at the convention to work. We are not paid by the con. I paid for my table. I paid for my assistant to be there. I paid for my badge. I paid for every piece of merch on that table. Nothing was given to me. Nothing was sent to me for free. Nothing was provided care of. Nothing was provided for the purposes of review. Nothing was provided for me to field test so that they could find out if it would work. That's all stuff that I've spent time, money, and energy developing over the years. Every piece on that table is something that if it's there, if it works, I put so much time and risk into developing it. So while I am in general happy to share my advice with you, and I really would like you to learn, and I would love to see more diversity in the alley, I have bills to pay and I have a bottom line to hit as well. And me spending an hour explaining where to buy every single thing on my table is detracting from my sales. And to be quite frank, it feels like a punishment when I give you so much of my time and you give me nothing in return. I'm being punished for helping you, and that's not fair. That's not right. So I wanted to discuss a few ways that you can help support those artists who are benefiting you, who are helping you, who are teaching you the ropes. We're not here to be used. We don't owe you anything. I don't owe you How to Be a Con Artist. Kiri doesn't owe you How to Be a Con Artist. We didn't have a How to Be a Con Artist. I had Heidi to help me, and Heidi was kind of relearning all her stuff too, so we kind of made a lot of expensive mistakes together. But I had a friend to help me, and that's kind of the inspiration behind How to Be a Con Artist, is I want you guys to feel like you have a friend. I don't want you to have to make all those mistakes, but I shouldn't lose money. I shouldn't be punished for helping you guys. I shouldn't feel like I'm training my competition. And when I see mini watercolors in the exact same style that I'm using at the exact same cons I'm at being sold by somebody who I talked to or taught at a panel a few years prior, that makes me feel very angry and it makes me feel awful. Especially if you've never purchased anything at all from the table and you're not a Patreon supporter. And I know a few of you guys who are watching this are probably thinking I sound pretty entitled, but you do have to keep in mind that I have 5 years of How to Be a Con Artist under my belt. I have about 10 panels on How to Be a Con Artist that were solicited by conventions under my belt. I have put in a lot of my time for free helping other people, and I'd like you guys to keep in mind that as somebody with a bottom line, I would like to recoup some of those losses. So here are some ways you can help support those artists who are doing so much to answer your questions. One, you can actually buy something from their table. if you want to support my work, if you want to continue to see me at cons, if you want to continue to pick my brain, if you would like me to continue to write for How to Be a Con Artist, supporting my work at the convention, keeping me at cons is a great way to do that. My personal preference would be for you to either purchase a copy of 7-inch Kara, which is only $15, and it comes with a super cute wooden charm. It is a really delightful watercolor comic. I cannot endorse it highly enough. You could purchase a copy of that for $15, or it would also be really helpful if you commissioned an at-home watercolor commission. Both of those things, one does not have a high profit margin, but it means a lot to me and it is my passion project. So your support for that will enable me to write more about doing conventions as a webcomic and an indie comic artist. It'll enable me to write more about selling original content at shows. Purchasing those sort of commissions, they require a lot of work and a lot of skill, but the materials themselves aren't exceedingly expensive, so that actually better enables me to pay my bills, keep the lights on, work from home, and to continue to dedicate time to How to Be a Con Artist. So you actually benefit a lot if you purchase one of those two things from my table. Another way you can support my work is you can join my Patreon at patreon.com/natosoup. While that doesn't directly support How to Be a Con Artist, and we would never, at least at this point, I'm trying to get Carrie to consider us charging for some of our services because we put a lot of time in and we don't get anything back. So you can support my Patreon, or you can tip either of us. You can find our tip jars on our How to Be a Con Artist About page. And even just like a $5 tip, when we've saved you hundreds of dollars in sourcing your materials and not making mistakes and figuring out where to get the nicest prints made, that's such a small return on our investment in you. And while you're not required to do it, it would help us out a lot. We're both working artists. We're both hardworking artists. And we both have bills to pay. We don't have sugar daddies. We don't have people taking care of us. And we both would really appreciate being able to support ourselves with the work we do. How to Be a Con Artist, this YouTube channel, my blog, this is a full-time unpaying job on top of the comic pages I'm doing. So any financial support you can give would be hugely appreciated. And if each and every one of you just gave like a couple bucks a month, like $2, like less than a candy bar at the store, it would be huge. It would go a super long way, and it would mean we could provide better content. Again, you're not required to, but that does help. A third way you can help support our work is to support and check out our personal projects. It's all well and good that you guys signal boost How to Be a Con Artist, but How to Be a Con Artist doesn't really need more support. We've got a pretty large fan base. What would be helpful is if you checked out our About page, if you knew a thing or two about us just by reading our About page, and if you checked out our own personal projects. If you checked out our Instagrams, if you checked out my comic, if you checked out Kiri's amazing calligraphy, if you came and visited us at cons and actually spent some money, all of those things would be really helpful. You can also support us by sharing our work to your social networks, introducing your friends to our work, giving us credit for all the things we taught you. That would be a really fair compensation for all the hours we've spent. So I've about lost my voice from MTAC and from teaching people how to do cons. So if you saw this video, I would really hope that you took it the right way. I don't mean to lecture you, but it is frustrating. I do so many shows. I talk to so many people. I help so many people free of charge to them. I'm actually paying to help you guys, which is kind of screwy. And I could really use your help and your support. And my comic, 7-inch Kara, could really use your help and support. So if you would check that out at 7inchkara.com or 7inchkara.tumblr.com, and if you would share that comic with your friends and loved ones, it would really mean the world to me. I'm really working hard to get the word out, and I would just really appreciate some more eyeballs on the project that I am the most passionate about. So I hope you guys will think about the things I've said, will think about rewarding those who have educated you, who have spent the time to help you out, free of cost, free of obligation. Consider rewarding them and making their time worthwhile. And I hope I see you guys again really soon. Bye, guys!